Good morning, danglers. It is finally time for the very first episode of none other than the Old Man's Tackle Box. So if you did not catch my introduction video, the whole idea behind this series is that I'm going to take my Old Man's Tackle Box and the only things I can use are whatever I find in his tackle box. And with that being said, I have been waiting for a specific lure to come in. His favorite lure of all time was the Mega Bass Gata X. And of course, with a lot of the places that I fish, there are a lot of pickerels, so I did not want to risk losing that particular one, so I wanted one to kind of put in its place. And I finally got that bad boy a few days ago, so we are ready to go, finally, with this very first episode. So we are starting off with some smallmouth, and then we're going to go to largemouth. Now, if you haven't figured out yet, one of the first things I will be tying on is that Gata X. And then maybe we might try one of the many different kinds of jerk baits we got in this box. And then, yeah, I'm going to stop flapping my gums. Let's find that Gata X, and let's get to dangling. The magic box. There's that Gata X. Purdy. So let's get this bad boy tied on, and let's get to dangling. Guys, there's one coming right up to the shore right now. He's right here. That's a good sized fish. He's hanging right there. Wow. It's a big fish, guys. Ah, Mr. Mink. Hello, Mr. Mink. Haven't seen you in quite some time. This thing is just cruising right along the shoreline here. Oh, whoa, you know what? That's a snakehead. Yeah, no shot. Yeah, baby. Yes. It's an eagle. I think. Yeah, that was an eagle. Wow. What a day so far, guys. We have not caught anything, but we got 2 eagles. We got our baldy right there. 2 big snakehead, which I don't think you guys will be able to see unless I catch one. Not quite off to the start I had hoped, but the wildlife today has been satisfying. Definitely not disappointed there. Okay, so on that note, we are going to change up tactics here. So I'm not getting really any more attention on the gata. So I would say the first few casts, the one snakehead was showing interest. It was following it up right to the shoreline, but I have not seen him since then. So we're going to change up tactics. And let's see, I caught my one and only snakehead using a swim jig. I don't believe we have any in the tackle box, but we're going to look and see what we do have and try to replicate that as much as we possibly can. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right. Yeah. Things took a tumble here. All over the place. Some fees. Okay, so we're going to throw a spinnerbait. This is just kind of white, a little bit of blue on the head. So this guy is actually very similar to the color of swim jig I was using when I caught my very first and only snakehead. So I'm kind of hoping this will do the trick. You know, skirt's kind of falling apart on me here, but I think it may be just enough to entice these big angry snakehead. And yeah, maybe some smallmouth. I'm not seeing anything action-wise when it comes to smallmouth, and I'm wondering if that has a lot to do with these big old snakehead kind of hanging around here. Again, kind of eat my own words. I've been saying for a while now that these invasive species, I've caught one, and I've been fishing this river for close to 25 years now, give or take. So here we are with 2 giants. So let's see if we can find these guys, maybe find some smallmouth, and if not, I'll be happy with the sightings of some bald eagles. He's still hanging out there. And again, some snakehead. And then we're going to move on to some largemouth. Okay, we have made it to our next smallie location. This actually used to be, excuse me, one of my favorite locations. There used to be a dam here, and I used to catch some of my biggest smallmouth at the bottom of this dam. And then somebody came in and said, "We're going to return the waters to our natural waterways." Yeah, I think these people ate a lot of paint chips when they were kids. But we're going to work a little bit further down the river. I've had a lot of luck in this particular spot as well. So hopefully a lot of those big fish that I used to catch over at the dam have worked their way over to this spot, if we are lucky. All right, looking good here. Whoa. Okay, so I am accepting defeat on the smallmouth dangle. We did see some cool stuff. We saw some great wildlife. We saw some snakehead, or at least I saw some snakehead. But I think I need to be a little more prepared when it comes to throwing the smaller stuff as far as my rod and reel setups go. It's the first episode. Cut me some slack. So, with that being said, we're going to round off the day with some smallmouth, and I came to the spot you've been seeing me catch most of my fish so far this year. However, we are going to stick to the bank, so I figured this would be a good safe spot to at least get some fish action here with the first episode of the Old Man's Tackle Box. Sorry. Anywho, we're going to start with the good old Gata X. We're going to get that bad boy on the surface, doing its crawling thing, see what we can find with that, and then I think we're actually going to tie on the old faithful, where is it? I know it's in here. Zoom lizard. So, let's stop flapping our gums. Let's get this bad boy in the water and see what we can find. On the dock again. I can't wait to get on the dock again. Okay, water levels are low. Ooh. I don't know. Right now it's just screaming topwater to me. Catch the stick. Why wouldn't we catch the stick? Wow. I guess that's what I get for buying something used. Got stuck on a stick, and to go pull it off, entire hook just came out of the bait. Well, hopefully this is entertaining for you. I'd be lying if I said I was entertained. So, with that being said, and now that I just have a pretty looking hookless bait, we're going to switch over to the Zoom Lizard. And hopefully that doesn't happen again. I don't see how that would happen again. That's impossible. Are you done? Anywho, let's get that Zoom Lizard tied on. Okay, so we got our Zoom Lizard tied on. This is in the green pumpkin magic color. Hopefully, let's hope our luck changes. move on down just a tad here. Oh, let me tell you, not my day, guys. I think I'd be less disappointed if it was just a normal day, going out and winging it, I guess you can say. But of all days, to just get skunked, lures breaking, worst one for me at least, for obvious reasons. Definitely disappointed about the Gata. I mean, to be fair, that lure is probably a good 20 years old. At least 20. So I can't really knock Megabass for that. It's just a very old lure that I decided to buy used. Which is fine, because I'll do it again. Something going on here. The skunk is broken, and Old Faithful did the trick. He would at the very least be happy about that. Alright, so let's get this guy back in the water, and then we're gonna call it a day, guys. Oh! Almost like it was meant to happen that way. Alright. Okay, well that is a wrap for the very first episode of the Old Man's Tackle Box, and what a show. But at least we got rid of the skunk. On Old Faithful, I'll be happy with that. Ish. So yeah, we saw some cool wildlife this morning. Broke a Gata X. That still hurts. Again, I'm buying them used because I don't want to use the brandy new shiny ones. And these things are about 20 years old. So I can't really blame the lure on that. It's just old. And with that being said, hey Megabass, bring it back with a micro version and a mega version. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this very first episode of the Old Man's Tackle Box. Definitely stay tuned for more. We got the second episode after this one. Not quite sure when that'll be, but that will definitely be on a boat next time. And maybe on this particular location we're at right now, or me and the old man's favorite spot. So definitely stay tuned for that. And probably before that, you're going to see me throwing a lot of new baits that I've recently got my hands on. I basically cycled out a lot of my old stuff and kind of brought in a lot of new, some already used, but we are definitely going more towards the Megabass and just JDM side of things as a whole. So definitely stay tuned for that. Again, bunch of new stuff, some big swim baits, some more crazy top water, some jerk baits, some crankbaits, blah, 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 blah. I can go on forever here. So yes, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, drop some comments, hit that like button. making myself laugh. And yeah, I'll catch you later.
Yes, indeed. They call me Mr. Greed worldwide. And I'm blackout.